Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes, and here we are, middle of October already.
Yeah, my word, it's fall.
You know, I'm glad we're in the fourth quarter of 2020. And I just saw, and Roger will appreciate this, I just saw a meme the other day, and the meme was, I'm glad we're in the fourth quarter. Hopefully we're playing the Falcons.
Yeah.
So that we could have a good comeback.
I hope.
And,
holy moly.
You know, it seems like for everything in 2020, everything has gone south except the real estate market.
Except the real estate market. And, you know, it's a big part of our economy.
Yeah, it is.
You know, for the average person, it's a huge investment for them. Their home is probably the single largest investment they have. And, you know, fortunately, the market has been really good this year. We haven't seen a rash of foreclosures, even with the pandemic and, you know, folks being out of work for an extended period of time. Unemployment rate's high, all of those things, but in general, the economy is rolling right along.
Well, again, I think we learned something from 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
I think the government took action swiftly.
Correct.
And with those stimulus checks and with helping out small businesses and so forth, they kept that unemployment rate relatively low, as much as they could.
In general,
yeah.
correct.
I mean, it seems like events and things like that, you know, the servers for, like, you know, convention halls,
Right.
yeah, they lost their jobs. But when it comes down to the majority of the people, because of the PPP money and things
Right.
like that, you know, people were able to sustain their jobs and so forth. And then overall, you know, with the interest rates being so low, it's helped out.
It really has. So interest rates being low have helped people on the refi standpoint. A lot of people have, you know, lowered their long-term debt significantly. Their monthly payments, they've lowered significantly. The amount of interest that they're going to pay over time is going to be a lot lower as well, because they might have refinanced out of a 4.5%, you know, interest rate, 30-year fixed loan, to a 3% or lower fixed interest rate loan. And, you know, I've read a couple of articles that said, you know, the rates have dropped significantly since the beginning or the start of the year, to where they're expecting 3%, you know, going into next year, or hovering around 3% into next year.
Yeah.
It's completely amazing. When we've talked in the past, a couple of old guys saying, hey, back in the 80s, well, you know, interest rates were as high as 18, 19, 20%.
I remember those days. Yes.
So, you know, now here we're talking 3%, and if we get a bump to 3.5%, everybody will say, oh no, the sky is falling. You know, but if you put it in context, although we're not living in the 80s anymore, right? We're living today, and it impacts us today. But overall, that lower interest rate has definitely impacted the real estate market. It's impacted affordability. Because you can buy more house, but unfortunately the cost of the home is more expensive than what it would have been if we didn't have such high demand.
Yeah, because prices are going up. They've been going up for quite some time.
They have been going up for quite some time. In fact, you know, I did pull an article that showed an example, and again, this is a national example, but what the numbers they put out is if you paid $270,000 for a house in February, your interest rate was probably about 3.6%, which that's what rates were at the beginning of this year.
Right.
Your principal and interest only payments about $986. The income required to buy that house was $56,800, roughly.
Okay.
That same house in August, even though the interest rate is at 3%, the price of that home is probably $310,000, so roughly a $40,000 increase.
Sure.
Am I doing that math right?
Yeah.
In 6 months, essentially. The principal and interest payment $1,047, but the income required went up about $3,600.
Wow.
So you need to be closer to $60,000 in income to afford that house.
Yeah.
So it goes back to where we've had that discussion about affordability, and while all of this stuff is great, you know, I'm in the business, I like it. We're selling homes, you know, we're helping folks get into new homes, but the low levels of inventory, the high demand, the low interest rates are all leading to price appreciation, which ultimately this example says that in order to afford the house, you have to earn more. Unfortunately, incomes aren't rising at the same level as what home prices are.
Well, yeah, because you've said time and time and time again, this can't continue.
It can't. It just can't.
At this rate.
At this rate. Now, again, it's good for the homeowner. Hey, my home is worth more. But if you ultimately don't have anybody that can afford to buy your home, what have you gained?
Right.
It's like we were talking a little bit off air about stocks, right? I mean, if you don't sell, you haven't lost.
Right.
Well,
right.
if you can't sell, you haven't gained.
Mm-hmm.
It's great that my house has went up in value, but if I don't have anybody that I can sell it to, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
So on paper it looks great, but in reality it's not spendable, right? I can't cash out, I guess, for lack of better terminology.
Yeah.
So, again, it's good for the economy that the market is as hot as it is. It's good for individual folks that their homes are going up in value, but ultimately we've got to see it level off as far as price appreciation goes. And we'll get there. We'll get to a balanced market again, to where there's just as many sellers as there are buyers.
Yep.
Pricing will slow down. We did see that when we did the the stats review, that it's pulled back a little bit. We're about 6% year over year.
Right.
We're not at 10% year over year, which in 19 that's what we were dealing with, is 10% price appreciation. We get closer to 6%, 5% a year, I think will be sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Yeah. Good information. So it really makes you think, because my money's so cheap right now and everything. But that really makes you think. So it kind of is a double-edged sword, so to speak.
It is definitely a double-edged sword. Yeah.
All right. Hey, we're going to be back right after the break, and we're going to talk about getting your home ready for winter, because that's right around the corner too.
It's coming.
It is. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skabowski of RE/MAX Lakes. And winter is right around the corner.
Oh man, don't even want to think about it, but it's coming.
The leaves are falling.
Leaves are falling.
I'll tell you what, over the past 2 weeks, the leaves really have changed. It is just so beautiful out there now.
It really is pretty. I mean, you drive around. We were down in Cincinnati last weekend, and just that run down there. I mean, the trees along the freeway was just beautiful.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous. So leaves are starting to fall. That is definitely creating some work for homeowners.
Yeah, well, some things that you should do, and that's really what we want to talk about. Is get ready for fall.
Okay.
Or for winter. So there's some things you need to do inside. There's some things you can do outside. So generally inside, now's a good time to get your air ducts cleaned, because the house is gonna be closed up, right? You're not gonna have windows open, those things. So if you've got, I don't know what the right allergens or whatever in your ductwork, it's a good time to get the ducts clean.
Yes.
Not ducks, D-U-C-K, ducts, D-U-C-T-S's.
Yes.
Get those cleaned. I typically have my own house. I have it serviced, the furnace and the AC serviced in the spring and in the fall.
Okay.
If nothing else, in the national stuff will say, well, make sure you change your furnace filter. It's always a good idea to have, at least in the fall for sure, have somebody come in and look at your furnace. They're doing safety checks. They're looking for carbon monoxide leaks. They're looking for gas leaks. Beyond just changing your filter, the standard checklist say change your filter. It doesn't hurt to have somebody come in and evaluate and make sure, especially if you've got an older furnace, right? So you don't just wake up dead.
Yeah,
right. That's the point.
It's happened.
That's on a good bad scale. That's probably a bad.
Yeah.
If you're having carbon monoxide leaks,
right.
Like brand new furnaces, you're probably okay. I know the service providers would say, hey, have it done all the time. Well, I do. Maybe I'm just for whatever reason I'm in the business. It makes sense to have it done every year. But if you've got an older furnace, it's well worth the $69.99 or $79, whatever it costs, to have somebody come out there and check your furnace out. Just carbon monoxide, gas leaks. They'll change the filter, make sure everything's good to go. And beyond that, beyond just the safety factor, when it's January and it's -10 and the wind chill's -25, it's nice to have a furnace that works. So that's kind of inside. Outside, clean your gutters. Right? We just talked about the leaves falling, those things. And it's not just an aesthetic piece. It's the fact that if those leaves build up in your gutters, and your gutters are full of leaves, and we get snow, and the snow melt happens, what's happening to that water?
Pushing right.
It's pushing up into your roof, which ultimately can lead, they call them ice dams, to where, you know, you can get mold and things like that because it's sucking up into the underside of your roof, which ultimately will get into the inside your house. You know, clean your gutters, make sure that, you know, if we start to get melt off, or we get that, you know, middle of December where we've had a little bit of snow, we had a little bit of ice maybe, and all of a sudden you get a melt off, that it's not creating an ice dam that's creating a problem long term for you on the roof.
And if it doesn't go in, then it's going to come over and it's going to run right down the foundation.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's going to be probably, you know, when it melts. When it
melts. And if you've got a basement, now you've got water running down the foundation wall, which where's it going to go? Block walls especially.
Yeah.
They're very porous. The water's going to come into the basement. Could lead to a problem for you.
Yep.
So lawn maintenance. Again, rake the leaves. Don't just leave the leaves lay in your yard. Now, much as I would like to do that, you know, and I have one big tree in my yard, but there's 5 acres of woods across the road from my house, and I swear that entire 5 acres blows in my yard.
Right.
But, you know, clean the leaves out, because if you leave piles of leaves, number one, it's not, and I don't pretend to be an expert on grass, but it's not healthy for your lawn to be covered up like that. And I guess I don't have to be an expert to see if I rake leaves into a big pile and leave them, the next spring I got a dead spot, right? When things start growing and I'm moving those leaves, I've got a dead spot.
Yeah.
So, you know, rake your leaves as they come down. If you live in the city limits, they're starting leaf pickup. I think they started this week, maybe next week. If you live in Warsaw, they're doing that. There's leaf bags. You can burn them if you're out in the county. I'm not recommending if you're in the city limits that you burn your leaves, because your neighbors will not be happy with you.
You'll get calls.
You'll get a call. But, you know, do some of those things outside. So just get your house ready for winter.
Yeah. No, that's very, very important. And going back to the gutter thing, it's like that's some work that I can't stand doing. But you are right; it is a necessity. And those gutter guards, I mean, that's a pretty good investment.
Yeah.
If you could keep those leaves out of there,
sure.
Those gutter guards are definitely a good investment for your home.
Sure.
My room, my house, I have a slate tile roof. Okay. So I climb up on that myself.
Ooh, scary.
Because, you know, I'm a little cheap, you know, and so
frugal.
Frugal, yes. Thank you. And so I do it myself, and so my wife will come out every 10 minutes or so and check on me, just make sure I'm still up on the roof as I'm cleaning out all the leaves.
Well, when we were doing ours, I ended up with those gutter guards because we've got 2 stories, and I was up on the roof, and my wife wasn't checking on me, but she was really worried about me falling off. You know, I sort of, kind of worried. So we did the gutter guards because I was doing the lean over with a rake, all this other stuff, all the things you shouldn't do. Fortunately, I did not fall.
Okay. That's good. All right, hey Mark, your contact information?
Sure, our website's lakes-realtors.com. Phone number is 574-834-1233. We do put this out on YouTube. Feel free to search Real Estate in Real Time. Be posted there soon.
All right, very good. You've been listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.